guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to install the TST Industries Brake Light Modulator on your bike. Now, a brake light modulator, sometimes called a strobe, sometimes called a brake light flasher, what it does is basically enables you to install some electronics on your bike so that when you press your brakes, the brake light flashes in some kind of pattern and alerts the drivers behind you that you will be stopping. Our particular brake light modulator comes pre-wired to a plug that interfaces with a sub-harness that we provide specific to your bike model that enables plug-and-play functionality with your bike. So that means that the installation is really fast and you can do it yourself. Now, the electronics inside, we do have the ability for you to program this unit to 3 different functions and then subsequently adjust the rate of the effect to your liking. Our first programmable mode is strobe alert. This mode will produce 9 flashes and then stay solid for the duration of the brake engagement. Second one is intermittent pulsar. Each cycle will flash 10 times and then pause, and then these cycles will repeat for the duration of the brake engagement. The last available option is pulsar, and this one just basically provides continuous flashing for the duration of the brake engagement. Now we'll show you how to install this. It's really simple, and then after the installation chunk, I will show you in detail how to get inside here, how to program the different modes, and how to alter the rate of those different modes. We did think about the safety of such devices during the design phase, so we decided to design this in a way that it will be a pass-through component. In case you experience a failure on board here, it will just pass through your normal brake function, which means you press your brake light lights up, there's just no effect. In case you do experience that failure, we do offer a warranty, so we have guys standing by in our support department that will take your call, email, Facebook message, whatever, and we'll get you replaced. And that's pretty much it. Now, I'm really excited to show you guys just how easy this is to put on and configure. So let's get started. So the DRZ that we will be using for our demonstration today in this video already has the TST Industries integrated taillight and fender eliminator combo on it. As you see, whether you have the TST setup or the OEM, you still retain the OEM connectors on the taillight wiring. So the installation procedure that I'm going to show you is going to be universal between these two systems. In fact, if you have any other aftermarket system on the tail portion of your DRZ that still uses the OEM connectors like I showed you here, then this installation procedure will get you going. All right, let's get started. So step 1 will consist of removing this panel and also the seat. On the OEM setup, you have a strap that comes across the seat here and gets screwed in underneath this panel. This particular bike doesn't have it, but I will still use the same exact procedure in order that I would if the strap was there. So 10mm socket, remove the seat bolts. Just one additional fastener here. On this particular bike, it is a 10mm head. I do vaguely remember this bike having an 8mm here. This is a bike that's been modified already, so it's going to be either an 8 or a 10mm socket in this position for you guys. If the strap is still in place, we just lift up on the seat enough to clear the plastic of this panel out from under this tab, and we'll need to pop it out like this. There is an interference tab here that interlocks with the tail, and you push it forward and slip this grommet off this peg. Now this comes away, put it to the side, and if the strap is still in place, it is screwed into this boss here. You would need to pull this fastener out, flop the strap over, and then the seat will be free. In this case, the seat is already free. We lift up on it and pull towards the rear to disengage these interference locks here and put it to the side. All right, now with the access here, we can identify the appropriate plugs that we need to disengage and plug into our harness. This 3-position plug set is what we need to disengage. And for the meantime, I will pull the harness, the bike harness part back into this compartment, and I will also undo this cable tie for now. I'll leave this stuff loose, tidy it back up at the very end. So here we have the harness that is specific to this bike. It plugs into your brake light modulator via this 4-position plug. And this one, you just have to be a little patient. Sometimes the pins don't align very perfectly, so I like to twist it around until they do align. And the key here is to make this male plug go into the female socket nice and smooth. Now we can figure out how to get these guys plugged in. It's very simple. There's only one way really, but at this point the challenge is to guide these wires in a way that they don't bulk up anywhere. And I like this routing here. Remember, the seat comes down and actually makes contact with some of these frame components, so we want to make sure that these plugs are out of the way. And what I'll do here is fold it over like this, and then I will make use of this side cable tie that exists on the bike. I'll just scooch it towards the rear of the bike, tie it down. And now this is a really nice setup here if you need to program your configuration into the actual circuit here. You should do it before you zip tie it. The procedure for that programming and adjustment is shown right after this section, so please watch the entire video and then proceed to tying everything down. And we'll use our cable ties around our brake light modulator and these wires. This channel here is designed specifically for the purpose of tying down the modulator to frame components and other components. You need to make sure that this is flush or below the surface of this tube here, and also that the zip tie is over to the side enough so that you have clearance for this rubber component that's supposed to make contact here in the center, in a way that you don't actually clamp down on the zip tie with this. It's not a really big concern, just a little detail that I like to include. I'll go ahead and use the other wire tie. Again, I'm going around all of these components. If you choose to do so, you could go around all of this so that everything is kept in place like that. And get it tightened down. Again, making sure you are off to the side and not in the center, and that everything is below or at the surface here. And once your configuration is up to your liking, you can snip off the remaining portions of these cable ties that are still sticking out, and you have a nice clean configuration, nice professional installation. And now it's just a matter of testing out the electrical function and making sure everything works well. All right, pretty good here. I'm going to go in the reverse order of disassembly, and then this installation will be complete. For mode selection and rate adjustment, we will need to get inside this capsule to access the electronics. These two Phillips head screws will need to be removed. What I like to do is unscrew them until they disengage from the receiving threads and leave them in the cap. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to lose them. If we pull them off with the cap, they are self-captive. All right, now we'll identify the parts here. This button is the mode selector, and this potentiometer is your rate adjuster. Clockwise is faster, counterclockwise is slower. Let's first do our selection of modes. With the brake pressed, press the button once to toggle to the next available program. Now the brake does have to be pressed so that the unit powers up. Otherwise, you won't be able to make the selection. If you find that you've pressed the button, but the selection has not been changed, just do it again with the brake pressed. So now we will go on to the next program. Press the brake once more, press the button once, and now you're in the next mode. Now we've switched twice, so pressing it one more time will return to the original mode that your unit arrived in. Now for rate adjustment, we'll be using the potentiometer. With the brake pressed, we can turn it clockwise to make it go faster, counterclockwise to decrease the rate. Now in brake alert, you will only have 9 flashes to make your adjustment, and then it'll stay solid. This one doesn't actually lend itself to really fast flashing at the top of the range. Bottom of the range is unusable, so I like to set it somewhere towards 3/4 to maybe 80% clockwise, and that does it for me. Now if we change to the next one, this one is pulsar, and this one just keeps on flashing, so I like to have it going pretty fast here. Choice is really up to you. If you want to explore the next mode, we have the intermittent pulsar. This one to me belongs somewhere close to the top of the range, makes it the most visible. But again, freedom means choice. The decision is ultimately up to you. Once you're done with your adjustment and you're where you want to be with all your modes and rates, replace the cap, turn the screws back in, and it really is just that simple. Replace your brake light modulator in the space that you decided to keep it, and you're good to go.